Good morning, guys. It is Wednesday, April the 8th, and I didn't post any videos yesterday, so I'm going to be catching up the lessons from yesterday. So today we are going to do lesson 5, and it's called Greedy Fawn Makes the Mush. Now, make sure that you're practicing for your fluency because our fluency goal for April and May is 65 words correct per minute. So if you would have counted 65 words, you would have gotten to page 49, which is the second page of the story. Second line, third word over, and that's the word So 65 words is the third word on that second line, which is the word That means if mom or dad times you, you want to be able to get to that word in 1 minute. Okay, so just practice one time, see how far you get. Read it again, see if you can get further. So every time you read, you want to be able to get further and further and further, but not speed reading. Remember, fluency is reading like we talk, like in a normal pace. Okay, so we're going to get ready to do our lesson today. Greedy Fawn Makes the Mush, and we're going to enjoy the story together. Okay? Let me go send this email. Okay, so Greedy Fawn makes the mush. Now, as you can tell by the cover page of this story, we see a fawn, okay, and she's looking into a pot. So this gives me the thought that this story is going to have a character who is a baby deer or a fawn, and maybe this fawn's going to be doing some cooking because it says makes the mush, and mush is almost like a soup. So let's start the story. Every day, Greedy Fawn ate chestnut mush. Only his mother knew how to make it. She boiled water in her biggest kettle. She sprinkled in a bit of chestnut. She stirred the pot 2 times. The mush bubbled up. Then Mother hit the pot with a stick. The mush dropped down, and it was ready to eat. Now you'll notice you see some sequence words here, then. So this is what she did first, and then she did this. So that would be a good sequence strategy to use. One day, Greedy Fawn's parents were going for his walk. His mother said, "Greedy Fawn, do not make a fire while we are gone." Then his parents left. There's another sequence word, the word then. So that means she's telling him that what she wants him to do or not do, and then they left. Okay, now in this story, we see a mom and a dad deer. Okay, so that would be a buck and a doe, and they're talking to their baby fawn. So what type of story do you think this is? Do you think it's a fantasy story or a non-fiction story? That's correct. It is a fantasy story. Greedy Fawn's stomach rumbled. He made a fire and boiled water. He sprinkled chestnut into the pot. Then he sprinkled in even more. "More chestnut will be better," he said. Now you'll notice here that we have quotation marks. Now these quotation marks means that these words here that are being spoken by the little fawn. Those quotation marks means that he is speaking. Greedy Fawn stirred the mush. He stirred it 2 times. Then he stirred it 10 times. "More stirring will be better," he thought. The mush boiled and grew. It flowed out of the pot faster and faster. Soon Greedy Fawn was deep in mush. Okay, so already we know that little fawn did not follow directions, and that now the mush is coming out of the pot and it's overflowing. I'm predicting that his parents will not be happy when they get home because he did not follow directions. Greedy Fawn jumped around, trying to get away from the mush. He jumped on a stick. The stick hit the pot. The mush stopped growing. Greedy Fawn was so tired. He fell down into the heap of mush. Oh no. Greedy Fawn's parents returned. They helped him get out of the mush. "Do you have enough mush now?" his mother asked. I don't want any of it, Greedy Fawn said. There is too much mush. Now I know that more is not always better. Okay, now on this story, you don't specifically have, questions to answer, but they do want you to draw maybe a part from the story, a part that was maybe your favorite, and then you could write a key detail from the story. So one option might be where his mom was making the mush, and then you could say the fawn's mother made the mush, or you could draw a picture in the story of where they're about to leave. You could draw a picture of the greedy fawn stirring the mush, or you could even draw a picture of little fawn making a mess with the mush as it grew and grew. Now, on the next page, it says describing characters. A character is a person or lifelike animal in a story. You can learn about characters by thinking about what they say and do. Now, in a nonfiction story, you do not have characters because that story is giving you facts and information. If you do have a character, then it's a character that's giving you facts and information. It says here are some questions you can ask yourself. What does the character say? What does the character do? How does the character feel? Asking these questions helps us learn more about the characters. So in the story, the greedy fawn stirs the mush, then the fawn must have been hungry. He must have been so hungry that he decided that he was going to make the mush as well. But then he learned that he should not do it when his mother was out. Now that almost reminds me of the story about the cat and the hat. Their mother was away, and while they were gone, the cat came, and then they had a big mess. But the difference between the two stories is in the cat and the hat, the cat cleaned up his mess before the mother came home. But with the fawn, as you can tell, he still had a mess when the parents got home, but they helped him out of it. So that just goes to show that you can do some compare and contrast between the stories that you're reading while you're at home and other stories that you can read. That's called the compare and contrast strategy. You can compare and contrast characters. You can compare and contrast stories, how they are alike and how they are different. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I hope to see you soon.